is on the tip of the tongues of every real estate agent in our marketplace, in any marketplace. It's conversation. When you pull up the different forums and different groups, it's probably the top 3 conversations that are going on at any point in time around tech. How do you use it? What's the best? How do I get better at it? It's the most talked about topic within real estate, and I wanted to kind of dive deep into it, and we're going to talk about different types of technology and how it impacts our lives and how to best effectively use it. But we're also going to talk about the tech conversation, or just conversations in general, and that generational gap that we have. And so sit back and come along this ride with us.
Yeah, and I'm just going to be completely honest with you. This stuff scares me. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that it kind of scares them as well. So just hang on, and we'll see if we can get through it. But you were talking earlier, Mark, about the different generations that we have right now in the business and how technology is affected, or how they are affected by the technology.
Sure. Yeah. So let's kind of walk backwards in those generations, and when I go through this, I'm not talking about anybody in specific. I'm just talking about just in generalities. So you have your younger generation. These are folks that grew up, were born into tech. So tech was existing when they were born. They, as 2-year-old toddlers, they could barely walk, but they could swipe open an iPhone and get to an app and play Angry Birds as quickly as anything. These are folks that are just that's their world. That's where they live. That's where they communicate. That's how them and their friends communicate. And then you have that middle of the road, middle-aged generation. These are folks that weren't born into tech. Tech really wasn't there. They saw the Atari being come out.
I remember that.
So this really is your generation. This is my generation.
Yep.
And while we weren't born into tech, we saw tech develop at a young age, and so as adolescents, we experienced it, and we saw it develop from very low level to very high level as adults. And we're adaptive. We can use it. It doesn't, it may scare you, but it doesn't scare a lot of us in this age. We use it as tools. We use it as means to be able to get from point A to point B, or communication here, and able to help us. And then you have the older generation, and this is a generation that not only didn't grow up with it, that as young people, it really wasn't introduced into their world, as so far as we know technology, until they were adults. So they're not pre-wired to understand the communication and the whys and the hows. And so a lot of times this generation is slow to adopt, have a difficulty understanding the reasonings behind, but overall want to be engaged, but just have a trouble getting there and getting proficient in those mediums.
Would you say there's like there's a little bit longer of a learning curve for that group? Because I feel like they want to get in there because they know it's part of it, but it may take a longer time to understand it and learn it.
Absolutely. And I want to kind of paint this picture for you. So I was having a conversation with an agent in our office yesterday, and 2 of them were getting ready to come to the office, and they were going to film a TikTok, and they wanted to do it after hours. They said, "Ask feels fine. Yeah, go for it." So these are some younger agents coming in to film a TikTok. Have a conversation with a gentleman that's our age, talking about the same situation. Well, he goes, "Yeah, I watch TikTok, I see it, but I'm not putting myself out there. I don't know how to, dub, record myself, voiceovers and things of that nature. I think it's funny, I think it's great, and I'd love to do it, but I'm scared." And then that same conversation led to someone that's in the older generation. And we just asked the question, "Do you have TikTok?" And the question was, "Do I have a what?" Do you have TikTok?
Do I have a Tic Tac?
And the answer was no. I have no idea what that is. And so these are 3 very distinct. And it was at that point in time that I really realized that the 3 distinct generations are there when it comes to technology, and those distinct differences in how you were raised, things that were there when you were growing up, also affect how you communicate.
Yeah.
And it's important to understand that that they exist, that there's delineations here, but it's also super important to take a step back, rise above, and say, okay, because I know these differences exist, what am I doing to compensate to make sure that I'm communicating the way this person needs to be communicated with, and vice versa? And everybody has to come to the table and understand that there are these differences.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue is the communication piece. It's like, all right, so if I'm representing someone that falls into that kind of older kind of category, not to put ages on it or whatnot, but just that isn't involved in technology that much, well, I'm not going to get on Facebook and message them, or I'm probably not even going to text them. I'm going to pick up a phone and call them.
Sure. And at the same token, the person needs to have the communication with is like, gosh, I don't have time to answer the phone. Why don't you just text me? You can get this done in 4 words and an acronym, and we can get this thing knocked out.
Right.
And so we've got to figure out how these communications, how people can communicate effectively. And I think, honestly, it becomes just self-awareness. Mm-hmm. We have to understand and hear it, and that's why I want to talk about it today, there is a difference. And realize where you are in the continuum, and know that while you're not wrong, you're also not right in how to communicate. Everybody has to come together and put forth some effort to meet people kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Just because we're in the middle doesn't mean we're always right, but we're always right.
Yeah, I mean, and there are pros and cons across the board. On one side, I like to do everything electronically, but it's hard for me to have a conversation face to face with somebody. On the flip side, I'm missing a lot of people who are in the tech world, in the Facebook verse, the metaverse, the TikTok world, whatever. And I'm afraid to get in there, but I'm missing that many people, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, again, awareness. This is self-awareness of where you are. Know who you're communicating with. Interagency or interagents working with one another. It's important for us to understand that, but kind of take a quick turn for a second and flip it. The communication with you and your client. Now, you're the professional. It's up to you to meet them where they are. You can't expect them to meet you where you are. So if you are ready to handle transactions via text message and nothing but email and really quick messages, but you're dealing with someone who has a flip phone, let's just call it, you're not going to be able to meet them where you want to meet them. You're going to have to be self-aware and step up and develop some skills to meet them where they are. Having a phone conversation, sitting down at a kitchen table and going over some things. And those are difficulties that you have to overcome as you're enhancing your skills.
There's people out there going, are flip phones still a thing? I saw it the other day. There's still flip phones out there.
I would like a flip. As many times as my phone buzzes and as many times as I get communicated with, a flip phone does not sound that bad.
Yeah.
But on the same token, let's kind of take it for this is not harping on one generation versus the other. Someone that's in the older generation that has a hard time in tech. If you've got a young client that this is where they're running and they're gunning and they're they want to just send them a text, send this stuff, send the electronic signatures, and let's just be done with it. You kind of need to step in and meet them where they are.
Yeah.
And that's difficult. And so practice, have conversations, have people help if it's really a difficult situation. But just know that they're not bad because that's how they communicate. It's just how they communicate.
Yeah, and it's just part of growing too. I mean, change, evolution, it happens. It is, it is what it is. And if you're like so stuck that I'm not doing this and I'm just gonna do paper contracts forever, I'm gonna meet you face to face. As good as some of these things are, you're not gonna hit everybody, and you've got to be able to change some to be able to meet other people's where they're at.
Absolutely. Okay, let's kind of flip the switch a little bit. So we've talked about the generational piece. Let's kind of talk about some of the specifics of text tools and tech things that real estate agents today use, need, and what are some things that they need to kind of have in place to take the best use of those things?
All right, so this is what I hear a lot because we talk about databases at our office. So take me through databases and then CRMs. I mean, there's so much in this world to focus on when you're putting together your contact list and your sphere.
Absolutely. So I hear it all the time. What's the best CRM? My answer is the same every single time, regardless of who I'm talking to. The best CRM, customer relationship management software, is the one you use. Okay? Period, punctuation at the end. The one that you use or will use. So there are CRM programs that are super complex, have all the bells and whistles, but you would need a degree from MIT to be able to operate. And then there are the ones that don't have all the bells and whistles, that are super easy, and it's very easy to operate, but can't do a lot of things. Neither one of them are bad. Neither one of them are the best. But it's the one that you're going to use.
Yeah, we're kind of back to what you're comfortable with. Where are you at in your how you feel about tech?
Sure.
And if you feel like you can immerse in this, then you're probably going to be using that CRM that it may take a degree from MIT.
Sure.
But if you're not, you may have to go a different way.
Absolutely. And so without getting into specifics of the different companies, because I'm not here to promote a company. No company is paying for us to do that, so we're not going to do it. But just use the one. There's a lot of great ones out there. I will take this turn and my philosophy. You guys know that Brian and I are with a RE/MAX organization, and just recently RE/MAX announced that they have navigated or making a change in their tech world. So I want to talk about that specifically, and I think it's a good thing. So about 5 years ago, a number of the real estate brokerages decided to go all in with tech. And what I mean by that is they decided to bring tech in-house. They've been purchasing off the shelf for their agents for a while. And so one after another, you name it, all the big brokerages decided to either develop or buy technology companies.
We're going to be a tech company.
Yes. And that was actually a statement by a brokerage at one of their big meetings. They are no longer a real estate firm, but we are going to be a tech company.
I just want to say, I go back to one thing that you always say. If you're going to make money in real estate, what is the best thing to do?
You have to sell real estate.
Correct.
Right. So that being said, focus. Real estate companies, real estate brokerages, in my opinion, lost focus.
Mm-hmm.
They threw a lot of money. Cash was just rolling in. And these big brokerages threw a ton of money at these tech companies. And fast forward 4 or 5 years later, most of them are not doing well, right, with their tech stuff. You go ask the agents that have to use the said products or have the opportunity to use those products that were developed in-house. They don't like them. They're not user-friendly. They were developed in a silo. They weren't developed with the forethought that a technology company in and of itself has to do, because then they have to go sell it to somebody. Mm-hmm. These brokerages had a captive audience. There was there was an incentive to make it good, but there wasn't this incentive enough that they had to go sell it on the open market. They were just going to force feed it to their agents.
Right.
And it didn't work. It didn't work in RE/MAX. It was a flop. RE/MAX decided that was, that they were going to, they were the kind of the last to the table to do that when they purchased a technology company, and probably spent in excess of $80 to $100 million trying to do it, but have made the decision that they are going to pick some high level stuff out of that, but then switch just to an organization that really does technology and CRMs at a high level. And I think that's probably a smart move, and I think you're probably going to see others end up down that road eventually.
Focus on what you do best. If you are really, really good at promoting and developing real estate agents, focus on that.
That's right. So focus is such a key. It is such a key. But kind of pull back into the tech world. So what are some of the things that as a high level philosophy of what you need to integrate into your business as either a brand new agent or a middle of the road agent or a seasoned agent. My philosophy is tech should not be in between you and your client. Okay? Tech should not be in between you and your client. Technology and software and applications and artificial intelligence and workflows and project management tools, all these things that are available to us, it should be behind you, encouraging you to engage your clients more. Mm-hmm. It should be taking care of some tasks that are going to make you more efficient to allow you to deepen your relationship with your clients, not come in between them.
You're using it as a tool to get to the end, not it's going to get to the end itself.
Correct, because at the end of the day, if you're using technology in between you and your clients, technology replaces you. Mm-hmm. You don't want technology to replace you because then you're out of a job. So use technology in a way that's going to enhance your ability to bring value to the table, and it's you can do it with you can approach this in two different ways with the exact same tools and get completely different results. So it's about how you incorporate tech, what you're doing to utilize these tools along the way.
You also talk about too when you're using tech to kind of broaden your spectrum. Don't be focused in one area because you never know when that one thing is going to change, evolve, or possibly go away.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know, I'm a big Gary Vee fan. I'm a huge Gary Vee fan. I think he puts out amazing content. I think he's super smart. He's very thought forward. And if you go back and look at some of the things that he's said over the years, not everything he said is come to fruition, but a lot of it has. Mm-hmm. One of the things that really kind of delves into the social media aspect of stuff, you don't need to be tied to one platform. If you're deciding to enter into social media as a form of advertising, as a form of client acquisition, client communication, and it's a big part of your business, then you need to be diversified because you're giving control to not only one entity, you're also giving control to things that you can't, to something you can't control. The government can literally come in tomorrow, strike a rule down, have a judge make a judgment that literally will take your business and put it into the ground. Mm-hmm. If you are in one platform. But if you're across multiple platforms, your chances of those going away, all of them at the same time, is almost nil. So having a cross-platform when it comes to social media stuff is important.
So, all right, take a step back for a second on that note. So I'm in the middle generation, let's call it, what we were talking about before.
Are we calling you the Facebook generation?
There you go, the Facebook generation. So what do I do? First of all, do I need to get on TikTok? And what do I need to do if I do? What do I do to get on there? From my understanding, it's just a bunch of young people doing dances. What do I need to do?
First, you ask yourself, is social media going to be where you're going to get a lion's share or a large part of your business? Because stay focused. Mm-hmm. That's the first question. Stay focused. But then if you answer in the affirmative that, yes, social media is where I need to be, and I do, I'm seeing dollars go this way, I'm seeing, most important, eyeballs go this way, then yeah, I would encourage you to look at and pursue all the avenues that are out there. And most importantly, I posted yesterday. It was a repost of Gary Vee again, and it said, "Stop overthinking and just go do." And then I added, "Get out of your own way." Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say that to this. Stop overthinking. If social media is where you want to be, or is where you're going to put some energy and effort, yes, go into TikTok, but don't overthink it. Be yourself. That's the biggest thing about social media is being authentic, because if you try to be somebody else because you see that they're getting likes, it's going to come across as cringy when you go to do it. Mm-hmm. So be yourself, put yourself out there. TikTok is not, at this point, a bunch of teeny bopper dances. Yes, they're there. That's what started it, and that's what's garnered a bunch of eyeballs. But then it molds into, morphs into other things. And there are, our podcast is on there. Do we do dances? Nope. If you see us doing dances, we've got a whole other problems.
We've got some dances. They're just not on the podcast.
But so it's there. There's educational stuff. There's motivational stuff. There's funny stuff. But it's TikTok's today. Facebook is still today. Twitter, I'm not sure ever was. Instagram, is out there. Snapchat. There's going to be the next one in a year or two. There's going to be another one, and the answer is, do I need to be involved in that? Probably. So, don't be scared, but stay focused.
Stay focused. That's the key.
And take a step back. Is social media for everybody? Nope. And don't try to fake it, because if you fake it, everybody knows it.
That's true.
And if you don't understand it, and want to understand it, go try. But if it's not for you and you're just doing it because everybody else is doing it, it's a waste of time. You can spend your time, energy, and money somewhere else that's going to get a much better return.
Yeah, and I want to add this too. I mean, just like everything else you do in your business, consistency is key. If you're going to do it, and do it consistently. Don't, I'm going to put a few things on there, back off, and be like, how come nobody's liking me? Or how come I'm not getting a phone call to go show a property or something? You've got to be consistent. Everything you do is for the long term, and you got to look at it that way.
Absolutely. It's funny you say that, because the same people I was having a conversation with about the generational TikTok comment, it was said by the young person, I'm thinking about doing a Tips Tuesday or something informational on Tuesdays for social media. And their team leader, looked at them and said, that's good. I think it's a great idea. I'm holding you accountable. Every single Tuesday, I want to see something. You do the first one. That's the first one of 52. I don't care if you're on vacation. I don't care. You do it every single, whatever you commit to, you do it. Yeah. And that is where social media can really enhance your competency and the public's perception of your knowledge of the industry. If you do something as rudimentary as, if you do it consistently, time over time over time over time, the public, the consumer that you're trying to reach in the beginning, is going to really gravitate to you and expect that you're going to be delivering, and that when they're ready to do something, they've been immersed into your stuff, so they understand that you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
So tech in general, don't be scared of it. Know where you are in the generational area. Know that there is a communication gap between you and the various other generations. And be self-aware and do everything you can to help bridge that gap.
Yep.
So, guys, thank you for joining us today on a quick tech talk and the Brian and Mark's take on technology in the real estate world. Hope you have a great one.